It's incredibly easy to imagine yourself at age 80, just looking back on a life filled with memories, grand adventures. But the crazy thing is, you've just stolen time from that 80-year-old version of yourself. So today, we are staging a rescue operation for your time.
I love that framing, a rescue operation.
Yeah, we're doing a deep dive, extracting the core insights from the Art of Laziness by Library Mindset. And the mission here is to really help you outsmart the psychology of procrastination.
Which is huge.
We want to move from this mindset of, passive delay to one of really purposeful action.
And to pull off that rescue operation, we really have to look under the hood of human behavior. Because procrastination isn't a character flaw.
Right. It's not just you being lazy.
No, not at all. It's not a permanent label. It is a biological default.
Wait, really? A biological default?
Yeah, we are dealing with this ancient brain that is just constantly calculating how to conserve energy and avoid discomfort.
That makes so much sense.
Right. So if we want to change our relationship with time, we have to understand the specific mechanisms our minds use to, well, keep us comfortable. And then we have to systematically dismantle the toxic habits that masquerade as actual work.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the core philosophy here, it really starts with the stark math of our mortality.
The math is definitely a wake-up call.
It really is. It establishes the ultimate stakes for why we need to stop delaying things. So the average global life expectancy is about 72 years.
Right.
But when you break that down into something we actually track, like something tangible, it translates to roughly 3,700 weeks.
Wow. It is a jarring number when you put it that way.
Just 3,700.
Yeah, the human brain is terrible at processing vast, abstract concepts, like a whole lifetime. But it understands weeks perfectly. We live our lives by weeks.
Exactly. And if you are, say, 30 years old right now, you have already spent 1,500 of those weeks.
They're just gone.
Poof! Gone. It's like treating your time as an unlimited bank account with no overdraft limit.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. You just keep swiping a debit card on mindless distractions until you randomly decide to check the balance one day.
And you realize you've spent nearly half of it.
Yeah, half of it on things you don't even care about. And, I mean, the realization isn't meant to send you into an existential spiral or anything.
No, of course not.
It is meant to destroy the illusion of someday, that magical day when you'll finally start.
And what's fascinating here is how temporal discounting plays into that illusion.
Temporal discounting? What's that?
So neurologically, our brains value an immediate, small reward, like, the quick dopamine hit from scrolling social media.
Well, yeah, the instant gratification.
Exactly. We value that far more highly than a massive reward that is delayed, like a satisfaction of building a business or getting in shape.
Because the payoff is so far away.
Right. Doing something hard today does not give you that instant chemical payoff. But the underlying philosophy we are exploring argues that the pain of discipline is temporary, while the pain of regret is permanent.
The pain of regret. Wow.
Yeah. The discomfort of starting a difficult task today is just a fraction of the psychological weight of looking back at age 80 and realizing you let your week slip away.
So realizing the bank account is running out is step one.
Definitely.
But to actually change our daily habits, we have to dismantle the primary psychological shield we use to defend our inaction.
And that shield is blame.
Blame. We fall into this trap of pointing fingers at our outside circumstances to justify why we aren't moving forward.
And blame is incredibly seductive because it acts as a stress relief valve.
Really? How so?
Well, shifting from an external locus of control where you feel like things just happen to you, to taking 100% responsibility, that requires immense cognitive effort.
Oh, I see. It's literally hard work for the brain.
Exactly. When you blame your friends, your family, or a demanding job, you actually lower your own cortisol levels in the moment.
No way. So blaming others physically calms us down.
It does. It convinces your mind that you are helpless, which conveniently excuses you from the friction of having to take hard action.
Man, that is wild. There is a classic fable used in the material to illustrate this danger, actually.
Oh, the one about the sparrow?
Yeah, the mother sparrow who builds her nest in a farmer's wheat field. So the farmer shows up one day and says he is going to send his sons to harvest the crop.
Right.
The baby sparrows panic, obviously, but the mother tells them they are perfectly safe, and sure enough, no one shows up.
Because he relied on someone else.
Exactly. So a few days later, the farmer says he is hiring laborers to harvest the wheat. Again, the mother knows they are safe, and again, no one shows up.
Right.
But when the farmer finally declares, I am going to harvest this wheat myself tomorrow, the mother sparrow immediately moves the nest.
Because she knows he's finally taken responsibility.
Right. She knows that relying on others is a guarantee of inaction, but personal ownership guarantees execution.
That's a perfect illustration.
But wait, let me just push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
What if something is genuinely outside of our control? Like, let's say you were dealing with a terrible global economy, or you have a genuinely toxic boss who actively sabotages your work.
Right, real world problems.
Yeah, it's not just a psychological shield if the obstacle is a tangible reality, right? Like, that's not just making excuses.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it comes down to the dichotomy of control.
Okay, the dichotomy of control.
Yeah. You absolutely cannot control macroeconomic trends. You cannot control a toxic manager's behavior. The framework here even uses the extreme example of a hypothetical asteroid hitting the Earth.
Right, like total doom out of nowhere.
Exactly. Worrying about uncontrollables creates this endless feedback loop of anxiety that just robs you of your present focus.
Paralyzes you.
Exactly. But what you can control is your immediate response, your emotional regulation, the boundaries you set, or the effort you put into updating your resume to escape that boss.
So the obstacle is real, but how you handle it is on you.
Precisely. While the obstacle is real, your decision to sit on the couch and fixate on it is a choice. Taking action on the variables within your control is the only mechanical cure for that kind of worry.
That reframes the challenge entirely. But I feel like once we stop blaming others and take ownership, we naturally stumble into a new trap.
Oh, the fake productivity trap.
Yes. We decide to take charge. And in our enthusiasm, we try to do everything at once. We mask our lack of focused progress with the illusion of busy work.
The transition from passive laziness to fake productivity is so seamless you usually don't even notice it.
You just feel exhausted all the time.
Right. We adopt these habits that look like hard work, but are actually mechanisms for avoiding deep focus. And the most pervasive of these is the myth of multitasking.
Oh, man. Multitask.
There's a great Confucius quote that perfectly captures the futility of it. The man who chases two rabbits catches neither.
That is so good. And a perfect real-world example of this is the 1999 NASA Mars Climate Orbiter.
Oh, that story is heartbreaking.
It really is. This was a $125 million spacecraft.
Oh.
And it completely burned up in the Martian atmosphere.
Yeah.
But the root cause wasn't some, unsolvable engineering paradox.
It's a simple error, right?
Yeah. A team simply failed to convert English units of measurement to metric units.
Incredible.
It is a sobering illustration of how dividing attention allows critical details to just slip through the cracks. It's like driving a manual transmission car in stop-and-go traffic.
Okay,
Yeah.
how so?
Well, the mental exhaustion doesn't come from the driving itself. It comes from constantly shifting gears.
No, that's a great way to look at it.
Every time you switch from a deep, focused task to checking an email, you are grinding the gears of your attention. And you're leaving what psychologists call attention residue behind.
And your brain burns massive amounts of glucose trying to figure out where it left off.
Exactly. It's exhausting.
And perfectionism operates the exact same way.
Perfectionism, really.
Yeah. But we tend to view perfectionism as a badge of honor, right?
Yeah.
Sign of high standards.
Sure, I just want it to be perfect.
Right. But in reality, it is a sophisticated disguise for procrastination.
Oh, wow.
It is the fear of shipping a product or making a decision masked as quality control.
It's like spending your entire Saturday trying to cut every single blade of grass in your yard to the exact same millimeter.
Yes.
Completely ignoring the fact that it is just going to grow back anyway. You obsess over irrelevant details so you don't have to face the vulnerability of actually finishing the project.
To bypass that fear, we can look at a decision-making rule from Shane Parrish.
Okay, what's the rule?
If a decision is reversible, meaning you can easily undo it or pivot, make it as soon as possible.
Just make the call.
Right. Just start moving.
Yeah.
But if a decision is irreversible, make it as late as possible so you can gather all the necessary data.
That makes total sense.
And most of our daily tasks are highly reversible, yet we agonize over them as if they are permanent. We really have to separate being productive from merely being busy.
Stephen Covey summarized this beautifully, actually. He said climbing a ladder quickly is entirely pointless if the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall.
That's a perfect visual.
And what pulls our ladder away from the right wall? Distractions.
The silent killers.
Yeah, they operate like a Trojan horse. Think about the Trojan War. The Greeks left this giant wooden horse outside the impenetrable gates of Troy.
And the Trojans thought it was a gift.
Exactly. They brought it inside their walls, and at night, the hidden soldiers slipped out and destroyed the city from within.
It's a classic story for a reason.
Right, and the addictive apps on our phones work the exact same way. They look like harmless little breaks. We invite them inside our mental fortress for a quick hit of entertainment, and they quietly dismantle our attention span from the inside out.
But once you kick those Trojan horses out of your mental fortress, you are left with a vacuum.
And nature abhors a vacuum.
Exactly. The brain hates a vacuum.
Yeah.
If you don't fill that space with rigid tactical frameworks, those distractions will simply sneak right back in under a different name.
Which brings us to the actual toolkit. How do we structure our environment to overcome the biological friction of starting?
We need actionable rules.
Right. Let's look at the 5-minute rule. The premise is really straightforward. If a task takes less than 5 minutes to complete, you do not schedule it.
You don't put it on a to-do list.
No, you do it immediately.
Right.
You don't let a dozen tiny leaks sink your ship.
I love that.
And then there is the 2-day rule for habits. You can miss a habit for 1 day because, emergencies happen.
Life happens.
Exactly. But you draw a hard line at 2 days. Missing 2 days in a row wires a new neural pathway where not doing the habit becomes your new baseline.
We also have to address Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion.
Oh, I've definitely experienced that.
Right. This isn't just a quirky observation. It is rooted in how we manage stress. If you give yourself 2 hours for a task, your brain paces its energy and invites distractions to fill the void.
Because it knows it has the time.
Exactly. But by artificially condensing the timeline to 1 hour, you trigger a mild productive stress response. You release norepinephrine, which locks in your focus and forces you to ignore trivial details.
That's fascinating. And we all know the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle, the idea that 20% of your actions drive 80% of your results.
Right. Focusing on what matters.
Applying it requires ruthless honesty about what actually belongs in that 20%.
It's harder than it sounds.
It is. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. To implement these rules without burning out, we can borrow several powerful concepts from Japanese philosophy.
I was hoping we'd get to these.
Yeah, they're so profound. First is wabi-sabi, which is the practice of finding beauty in imperfection.
This is the direct neurological antidote to the perfectionism we just talked about.
Exactly. It allows you to embrace the messy reality of getting things done rather than just freezing in the pursuit of a flawless ideal.
Then you have Kaizen.
Kaizen, yeah.
Which is the philosophy of continuous microscopic improvement, focusing on getting just 1% better every day.
Just 1%. That sounds so manageable.
It is. And there's a biological reason it works. When you set a massive, life-altering goal, your brain's amygdala often registers it as a threat, triggering a fear response that causes you to freeze.
Ah, so that's why New Year's resolutions fail so often.
Exactly. Kaizen bypasses the amygdala. A 1% improvement is so small that it doesn't trigger the fear response, but it still delivers a small hit of dopamine, creating a sustainable loop of progress.
That is brilliant. And finally, there's Ikigai.
The intersection of purpose.
Right. It's finding the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for.
When you have Ikigai, you have intrinsic motivation, which means you don't have to rely on cheap, external dopamine hits just to get out of bed in the morning.
It's self-sustaining. Now, to ground all of these philosophies, we really need to talk about routines.
Routines are the glue.
They really are. Think about the daily schedule of someone like Leo Tolstoy.
The author. Yeah.
He woke up at 5 in the morning, walked for an hour, engaged in deep writing, and then took a 2-hour nap.
Sounds pretty nice, honestly.
Right. But the specific elements of his day aren't what matter. It's the rigidity of the structure. Having a predetermined routine eliminates decision fatigue.
You're not burning willpower.
Exactly. You aren't burning willpower at 8 in the morning trying to decide what to do next. The choice is already made.
This raises an important question for anyone trying to implement these routines, though.
What's that?
How good are you at setting boundaries?
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
Protecting your time and energy means getting comfortable with saying no.
And people hate saying no.
They do.
Hmm?
But if you agree to every meeting, every favor, and every social obligation out of guilt, you are automatically saying no to your own goals.
You just can't do it all.
Right. You have finite cognitive bandwidth. Pleasing everyone else guarantees you will lose your own purpose in the noise.
So let's say you do all of this. You enforce your boundaries, you apply the 5-minute rule, you focus on your 20%, and you embrace Kaizen.
You're doing everything right.
Yeah, you are finally doing the deep work. This brings us to the final and perhaps most difficult hurdle:
The waiting game.
navigating the psychological valley of disappointment when the results don't show up immediately.
That is the ultimate test of resilience.
It really is.
When we finally overcome our laziness and exert effort, our brain demands validation. We want an immediate return on our investment.
Like, I worked hard today, where's my reward?
Exactly. But true discipline requires separating the action from the outcome, a concept heavily reinforced through perspective-shifting parables.
Like the story of the Chinese bamboo tree.
Oh, that's a brilliant metaphor for this biological withdrawal.
It is. So a farmer plants a seed and waters it every single day. For 4 entire years, nothing breaks the surface.
4 years of watering dirt.
Literally, there is zero visible feedback. Most people quit in year 2 or 3 because the brain screams that the effort is wasted.
It feels pointless.
Right. But in the 5th year, the bamboo sprouts and grows 60 feet in just 6 weeks.
Wow.
It was building a massive root system underground that entire time. The lesson is clear. Be fiercely impatient with your daily inputs, but incredibly patient with your long-term outputs.
And we see the danger of ignoring that patience in the story of the Zen student.
Oh, I love this one.
A young student asks his teacher how long it will take to master Zen. The teacher replies, 10 years. The student, fueled by raw, uncalibrated ambition, says, I will work twice as hard. I will practice 10 hours a day. How long then?
And what does the teacher say?
The teacher calmly responds, 20 years.
Wow, that is painfully relatable. We all think we can hack the natural timeline by just grinding harder and sacrificing our sleep and sanity.
But that frantic desperation actually introduces friction.
It really does. It creates this anxious energy that degrades the quality of the work and pushes the goal further away.
Which is why emotional regulation is the bedrock of overcoming laziness.
Emotional regulation.
Yes. It is the ability to execute your routine without demanding immediate validation from the universe.
And there's a great parable for that too, right?
A master class in this kind of detached observation is the parable of the farmer and his horse.
Right.
The farmer's horse runs away and the villagers cry, terrible luck. The farmer simply says, maybe.
He's just totally neutral.
Exactly. Then the horse returns with 10 wild horses. Fantastic luck, the villagers say. Maybe, says the farmer.
Still neutral.
Right. Then the farmer's son breaks his leg trying to tame one of the wild horses. Terrible luck. The villagers cry, maybe.
And then what happens?
The very next day, the military drafts all able-bodied men for a brutal war, but the son is spared because of his broken leg.
It perfectly illustrates the danger of emotional whiplash.
We waste so much energy.
We really do, judging every minor setback as a total catastrophe or every small win as the ultimate victory.
When in reality, we have no idea.
We can't see the end of the story, so reacting to the middle of it just burns out our nervous system.
And that leads directly to the final mental model for emotional regulation. The king and the ring.
Oh, this one is powerful.
A king asks his advisors for a single truth that applies to every situation: joy, sorrow, victory, and defeat. They give him a ring with a hidden inscription.
Okay.
Later, his kingdom is overrun. He is trapped at the edge of a cliff, listening to enemy hooves approaching.
Total despair.
Exactly. In total despair, he opens the ring and reads the words, "This too shall pass." His panic subsides, he stays quiet, and his enemies pass him by.
But the real power of the mantra is revealed later, right?
Yes. He reclaims his kingdom. And during a massive victory parade, his ego starts to inflate. He feels invincible.
On top of the world.
Then the sunlight catches the ring. He reads the words again. "This too shall pass."
Oh, man. It instantly grounds him.
It cures the arrogance of success just as effectively as it cured the despair of failure.
It is the ultimate tool for consistency. Whether you are struggling to start a project or celebrating a massive win, recognizing the temporary nature of both states keeps you tethered to the work itself rather than the emotional highs and lows.
It really is.
So let's do a quick recap of the mental tool belt we've just assembled here.
Sounds good.
First, recognize the math. You have roughly 3,700 weeks.
Don't waste them.
Second, drop the psychological shield of blaming external factors and focus strictly on what you can control.
Stop blaming the economy.
Right. Third, kill the illusions of fake productivity. Stop grinding the gears of your attention with multitasking and realize perfectionism is just fear in disguise.
Huge point.
Fourth, Rely on systems, not motivation. Use the 5-minute rule to stop the tiny leaks and leverage the neuroscience of Kaizen to build momentum without triggering fear.
1% better.
Exactly. And finally, build your root system quietly, remaining steadfastly patient and emotionally detached from immediate results.
It is a comprehensive system for outsmarting your own biology. The overarching theme is that you are no longer a victim of your impulses. You have the frameworks to actively design your days.
And as we close out this deep dive, let's look back at how we started.
Right, the 80-year-old self.
We talked about imagining your 80-year-old self looking back at your life, but try flipping that concept around.
What do you mean?
What if the 80-year-old version of you is actually watching you right now through their memories?
Oh, that's an intense thought.
Think about that. Are you giving them a thrilling, purposeful, resilient story to watch? Or are they stuck watching a rerun of you staring at a screen, trapped in the illusion of someday, waiting for the perfect moment to finally start living?
That changes everything.
The script for tomorrow is being written by the actions you choose to take in the next 5 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. Drop the excuses, protect your weeks, and go take action on whatever it is you have been putting off today.